Good morning, family. Today, I want to talk about something that can completely transform your life if you let it. It's the powerful truth that what you do in the morning affects everything, not just your day, but your relationship with God and the success that follows. So if you're ready for some life-altering truths, I want you to listen carefully. We are going to talk about the 4 morning habits that displease God. You may not even realize that you're doing them, but trust me, when we uncover these habits, I know you will feel the shift as we correct them together. Let's dive deeper into the first key point, which is the power of morning habits. Have you ever woken up feeling like the day was already slipping out of your control before you even got out of bed? I know I have. And it's an overwhelming feeling when you realize that your day is getting hijacked before you even had a chance to set the course. Now let me ask you, how do you wake up in the morning? Do you roll over to check your phone, jump right into the demands of the day, or do you start your morning with a sense of purpose and alignment? The truth is, your morning is more powerful than you think. It's the moment when you set the tone for everything that's going to follow. Your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, and ultimately your success are all deeply influenced by what you do in the first moments of your day. The decisions you make when you first open your eyes can either lead you into a day of productivity, peace, and alignment with God's purpose, or one of chaos, frustration, and lost opportunities. I've lived both ways. I remember a time when I woke up late, jumped straight into emails and work, checking all the things I had missed overnight. The whole day would feel like a race, and I would barely catch my breath before the next task arrived. I'd find myself reacting to life instead of living with intention. Have you ever been there? Have you ever felt that way, like you're just running from one moment to the next, barely able to pause and reflect on what's actually important? But I want to challenge you to see the morning differently. Your morning is a fresh start, a blank canvas where you get to decide how the rest of your day will unfold. And what happens in those first moments of the day shapes the entire outcome. When you wake up with purpose and clarity, when you take control of your mindset, and when you decide to invite God into your day, everything changes. When you give yourself time to start your morning intentionally, everything else follows with greater ease. It's like setting the course for a ship. If you set the rudder in the right direction from the start, the ship will follow that course all the way through its journey. But if you leave it to drift aimlessly, you might find yourself on a completely different path than you intended. The same thing happens in life. If you set your morning on the right path, your day will align with your goals, your purpose, and your divine calling. The Bible speaks about the importance of beginning the day right, especially in the Psalms. Psalm 503 says, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." Do you know what that means? It means that the morning is not just a time to start your day. It's a time to lay your heart before God, to seek his guidance, and to prepare your heart and mind for what's to come. When you approach the morning with this kind of reverence, you're inviting God into every detail of your day. I've seen this principle play out in my life, and the results have been nothing short of miraculous. When I began to set my mornings intentionally, everything changed. Instead of feeling like I was constantly reacting to life, I started to feel more empowered and aligned with God's purpose. I found myself waking up earlier, taking that extra time to pray, to reflect, and to affirm my goals for the day. I noticed that the moments of peace and clarity in the morning gave me the energy to handle whatever came my way throughout the day. I wasn't rushing to catch up. I wasn't overwhelmed. Instead, I was ready to meet the day with focus, intention, and peace. But here's the thing. It's not just about waking up early. It's not just about setting a goal for the day. It's about aligning your heart and mind first thing with what matters most. Your relationship with God, your purpose in this world, and the calling he has placed on your life. What would happen if you made the choice every morning to invest in yourself before you invested in the distractions of the world? What would happen if you chose to prioritize your spiritual health, your mindset, and your relationship with God over everything else? The results are transformative. You can't afford to let your morning slip away without intention. You can't afford to give the world your energy before you give it to God. The power of morning habits is that they not only set the tone for your day, but they set the course for your future. When you wake up with the intention of starting your day right, you're not only pleasing God, but you're also setting yourself up for success in every area of your life. Trust me when I tell you that when you start your day with purpose, everything you touch throughout that day has a higher chance of thriving. Let's dive deeper into the second habit that displeases God, ignoring gratitude. It's a simple thing to overlook, yet it carries such immense weight in the eyes of God. You see, when we wake up in the morning, we're often consumed by what we don't have, what we need to accomplish, or the stress of what's ahead. We go through our routines without taking a moment to reflect on the blessings we already have. And when we do this, we fail to acknowledge the very grace that God extends to us each day. I've been there. There was a time in my life when I woke up, grabbed my phone, checked my messages, and immediately got swept up in everything that needed my attention. I didn't stop to think about the gift of another day. I didn't pause to thank God for the health in my body, the roof over my head, the people I love, or the simple gift of being alive. And in doing so, I missed out on one of the most powerful practices you can start your day with: gratitude. Think about it. Every morning you wake up is a fresh opportunity, a blank canvas for you to create the day that lies ahead. But without gratitude, you miss the opportunity to recognize that all the blessings, big and small, are already present in your life. And I'm not just talking about the major blessings like family, health, or financial stability. I'm talking about the smaller blessings, the ones we often take for granted. The ability to breathe, the warmth of the sun on your face, the quiet stillness of the morning before the world wakes up, the opportunity to serve others, to learn, to grow, and to be a blessing to someone else. The Bible speaks repeatedly about the importance of a thankful heart. In 1 Thessalonians 5:18, we are commanded to give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for us in Christ Jesus. Psalm 104 says, enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Gratitude is a form of worship. When you express thanks to God, you are acknowledging his goodness, his provision, and his faithfulness in your life. What happens when you start your morning with gratitude? You shift your perspective. Instead of waking up and immediately feeling overwhelmed by what you have to do, you wake up and feel blessed by what you already have. You start to see the goodness of God in every little thing, from the simple act of getting out of bed to the joy of spending time with loved ones. This attitude of thankfulness changes your mindset for the entire day. You start to see the world through the lens of abundance rather than scarcity. You start to realize that God has already provided you with more than enough, and that everything you need will be provided according to his will. When I began practicing gratitude every morning, I noticed an immediate shift in my life. My focus changed. I began to see challenges as opportunities for growth instead of obstacles to my success. I stopped looking at what I lacked and started looking at what I had. I no longer measured my worth by my material possessions or by external validation. Instead, I focused on the eternal and unshakable blessings that God had already placed in my life. And with this shift, my life began to overflow in ways I never expected. Relationships improved, opportunities opened up, and my mental and emotional health became stronger. It wasn't that my circumstances changed overnight, it was that my perspective changed. Gratitude brings you into alignment with God's will. It positions you to receive more blessings, because when God sees a thankful heart, he sees someone who recognizes his goodness and is willing to acknowledge it. It's like the parable of the talents. Those who are faithful with a little are entrusted with much more. When you are thankful for the little things, God opens doors for bigger blessings to come your way. But if you're constantly complaining or feeling dissatisfied with what you have, you're missing out on the richness of God's provision. Now, I'm not saying that you should ignore your problems or live in denial of challenges. Life will always have its ups and downs. But when you begin your day by acknowledging God's goodness, it changes the way you approach those challenges. You start to feel more grounded, more at peace, and more confident that you're not facing life alone. God is with you, and his grace is sufficient. Gratitude is a way of reminding yourself that you are never alone, that you are always blessed, and that there is always something to be thankful for, no matter the circumstances. So the next time you wake up in the morning, don't rush into your to-do list or let the weight of the day's demands consume you. Instead, take a moment to give thanks. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and thank God for the gift of another day. Thank him for your health, for your loved ones, for your job, for your home, and for the simple fact that you are alive. And then as you go about your day, carry that attitude of gratitude with you. You'll be amazed at how it changes not only your perspective, but your entire life. Let's dive deeper into the third habit that displeases God, living without intentionality. The truth is, so many people live day by day without purpose, without a clear sense of direction. They wake up, go through the motions, and react to life rather than creating it. They are like ships without a rudder, tossed around by the waves, just drifting through life, hoping something good will happen. And let me tell you, that kind of life doesn't please God. I'll share a story from my own life. There was a time when I was going through the motions of my daily routine without truly having a clear direction. I'd wake up, work hard, try to do the right things, but I wasn't being intentional. My days weren't being guided by a clear purpose. I didn't have a daily plan that aligned with my deepest values or goals. Instead, I was simply reacting to whatever life threw at me. I would go to work, face challenges, and deal with problems, but I often felt like I was running in circles. I wasn't truly accomplishing anything meaningful, and I wasn't moving forward in the way I wanted. It was frustrating because deep down, I knew that I was capable of so much more, but I just didn't know how to get there. Do you know what I realized? I realized that living without intentionality is a form of disobedience. God created each of us for a purpose. We are meant to be stewards of our time, our talents, and the opportunities he has given us. And to be a good steward means to live intentionally, not passively. We have to take the time to set goals, create a vision, and take action toward that vision each and every day. And this is a daily choice, not a one-time decision. Without that intentionality, we are wasting the gifts God has given us. We are squandering time, energy, and resources that could be used to build his kingdom and fulfill our purpose. When we choose to live without intentionality, we essentially say to God, I don't trust you enough to guide me, so I'm going to do whatever feels right in the moment. But that's not how God designed us to live. In Jeremiah 29:11, God tells us that he has a plan for our lives, a plan to prosper us and give us a future and a hope. That's a promise. But we cannot walk in that plan if we don't take the time to seek God's direction and align our daily actions with his will. Living intentionally means waking up with purpose. It means beginning each day with clarity about your goals, your priorities, and how you want to make a difference in the world. It means taking time to pray and seek God's guidance before you dive into your tasks, to listen for his voice and direction for your day. It's about choosing to take deliberate action toward what matters most, not just reacting to whatever comes your way. I remember when I started to shift my mindset and move from a life of reaction to one of intentional action. I began to wake up each morning and set the tone for my day. I'd write down my goals, think about the impact I wanted to have, and focus on how I could be a blessing to others. I began to see life as a series of opportunities. Slowly but surely, the more I aligned my actions with my values, the more I saw God's hand guiding me toward my destiny. Intentionality also means prioritizing what truly matters. It means deciding before the distractions of the day hit what your non-negotiables are. What do you want to focus on? What is God calling you to? When you live intentionally, you set clear boundaries that help you protect your time and energy. You don't let the small things or the distractions of life take you off course. You stay focused on your mission and your vision. Here's the thing about intentionality. It doesn't always come easy. It requires discipline, planning, and effort. There will be days when it feels like it would be easier to just go with the flow or let life happen to you. But here's the truth. Living intentionally is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's necessary if you want to fulfill the purpose God has for your life. It's necessary if you want to make a lasting impact both in your own life and in the lives of others. And it's necessary if you want to experience true fulfillment and peace. When you start your day with intentionality, you set yourself up for success, not just in your tasks, but in your soul. You create a life that is aligned with God's plan, and you become a vessel for his purpose. Every action, every decision becomes an opportunity to honor God and to walk in the path he has set before you. So, I want to encourage you today to stop living on autopilot, stop reacting to life as it comes, and start being proactive. Take some time every morning to set your intentions, to get clear on what matters, and to align your actions with God's will. It's not about perfection. It's about progress, about making small intentional steps every day toward the life you were created for. Trust me when I tell you that when you begin to live with intentionality, you'll start to see things fall into place in ways you never imagined. Your purpose will become clearer, your goals more achievable, and your life more fulfilling. It's time to stop drifting and start living with purpose. Now, let's explore the fourth habit that displeases God, starting your day without prayer or spiritual connection. The truth is, so many of us rush into the day without first taking the time to seek God's guidance. We're in a rush to get things done, to meet deadlines, to check off our to-do lists. But in doing this, we're missing one of the most important elements of a successful, fulfilling day, the peace, wisdom, and strength that only God can provide. I've been guilty of this too. There was a time when I used to wake up, hit snooze on my alarm, rush through getting ready, and dive straight into the demands of the day. I'd grab my coffee, check my emails, and before I knew it, hours had passed and I had not taken one moment to connect with God. And what I began to notice was this. Without that connection, my day felt like it was in chaos. I was frazzled, I was anxious, I was stressed. I wasn't centered. I wasn't at peace. I wasn't walking in the strength that only God can provide. And in that state, I wasn't performing at my best, and I certainly wasn't honoring God the way he deserved. But when I began to shift my habits and prioritize spiritual connection first thing in the morning, everything changed. You see, God is the source of everything. He is the giver of wisdom, peace, and direction. And when we start our day without acknowledging him, we are in a sense saying, God, I don't need you right now. I can handle this on my own. And let's be honest, we know that's never true. We are not capable of handling everything life throws at us on our own, not without his guidance and strength. Prayer is not just about asking for things or making requests. It's about aligning our hearts with God's will and inviting him into our day. It's about giving him the first fruits of our time and acknowledging that without him, we can do nothing. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus tells us, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. When we begin our day by seeking God, we are placing him first ahead of our tasks, our worries, and our goals. We are saying, God, I trust you with this day, with my life, and with everything I'm about to face. That's an incredibly powerful position to be in. When I began prioritizing prayer in the morning, I noticed a profound difference in my mindset. I didn't feel as rushed, as anxious, or as overwhelmed. Instead, I felt a deep sense of peace and clarity. God's presence gave me the strength to handle whatever challenges the day brought, and I approached my work and my relationships with a renewed sense of purpose. Prayer is like putting on armor before you go into battle. It prepares your heart, mind, and spirit for whatever lies ahead. And it's not just about asking for help or guidance. It's also about expressing gratitude, worship, and surrender. When we take the time to praise God and acknowledge his greatness in the quiet moments of the morning, we open ourselves to his power. We begin to see the world from his perspective, and we are filled with the confidence and peace that only he can give. Here's what I've learned. Prayer is not a religious duty. It's a necessity for spiritual and emotional health. It's like charging your phone in the morning. If you don't plug it in, it won't have enough power to get you through the day. If you don't spend time in prayer, you won't have the strength, the peace, or the direction you need to navigate life. You'll feel disconnected, drained, and lost. But when you start your day in prayer, you set the tone for everything that follows. You invite God into your day, and he fills you with the wisdom, peace, and strength you need to thrive. There are days when it feels hard to make time for prayer. Life is busy, and sometimes it feels like there's just too much to do, but I want to challenge you today. Make time for prayer no matter what. If you have to wake up a little earlier, do it. If you need to shorten your morning routine, do it. But do not skip this vital step. It's not about how long you pray. It's about the sincerity of your heart and the willingness to invite God into your day. Start with simple, heartfelt prayers. Thank God for the gift of the day ahead, for the people you'll encounter, and for the strength he will provide. Ask for guidance in your decisions, peace in your heart, and wisdom in your actions. As you pray, listen, sometimes prayer is not just about speaking. It's about being still and allowing God to speak to you. He may give you insights, reminders, or even a sense of peace that transcends your understanding. The more you make prayer a part of your morning routine, the more you will see how it transforms your life. You'll notice that your days become more purposeful, more peaceful, and more productive. You'll face challenges with a renewed sense of confidence, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. You'll begin to feel his presence in everything you do, and you'll start to realize that you are never alone. So don't start your day without connecting with the one who holds the world in his hands. Don't try to go through your day relying solely on your own strength. Invite God into your morning and watch how he transforms your day, your heart, and your life.